The domineering Seo knelt on one knee, holding a diamond ring as he confessed deeply, "Cece, I love you. Marry me." Cece blushed bright red, completely caught off guard by his affection. She reached out her hand and softly agreed. However, the entire proposal was nothing but a staged performance. She was merely a stand-in for President Hua's first love. The reporters' flashes kept going off, pushing them straight to the top of the trending list. The faces of the wealthy socialites twisted with jealousy. Yet as soon as the engagement party ended, President Hua ordered her to remove the ring and even warned coldly not to smile because when she did, she didn't look like that woman anymore. Cece still nodded obediently, quietly taking off the ring without a hint of complaint. Hua Miao reminded her coldly, "Don't forget who you are. I can give you anything except love." Cece smiled faintly. She was a professional actress after all, and the CEO's money was far more attractive than the CEO himself. Hua Miao's veins bulged in anger. Was this woman actually provoking him? But he quickly calmed down, thinking she must be doing this just to get his attention. Sure enough, the woman's steps came to a stop. With full arrogance, Hua Miao declared, "Even if you beg me, I won't let you stay the night." Cece couldn't help but laugh. President Hua was overthinking again. She just remembered it was a holiday and overtime pay was triple today. Hua Miao, embarrassed and angry, ended up sending her a big red packet. Cece made a heart shape with her fingers and smiled, "Thanks, boss." She loved clients who spent money without blinking. Humming a tune, she wrapped up her workday. Just as she stepped outside, she received an invitation from client number 2. But her business hours were already over, so she refused without hesitation. "Next time you need a stand-in, please book in advance." To her surprise, the client immediately offered 10,000 per hour. Cece jumped straight into a taxi and rushed off. That's right, she was just a low-tier actress, a background double with one simple goal: to save up 100 million. Meanwhile, movie king Shindi had been waiting in a luxury restaurant. When he saw her arrive, his gaze softened instantly. Cece apologized quickly. "Sorry, the proposal scene dragged on a bit." Shindi asked curiously, "You just said yes to President Hua's proposal and now you're having dinner with me? Won't he get mad?" Cece was speechless. "You must be joking, Mr. Shin. President Hua and I have a business contract, not a relationship that he has no say in what I do." Shindi was about to start the real conversation when she cut him off. Cece pulled out a timer and said flatly, "This is overtime, so I'm charging extra." The movie king's smile froze that he'd never met a woman so obsessed with money. Cece pressed the timer button and calmly announced, "Billing starts now." But then she stared at the menu for a long while, not ordering a single dish. Shindi looked puzzled. "What's wrong? Nothing on the menu you like?" In truth, Cece was debating, should she play the sweet first love type or the cool and salty type? Sweet meant caramelized sweet potatoes. Salty meant braised beef brisket. Her answer left Shindi stunned for a moment before he chuckled, "You're really dedicated to this role. But as long as you capture the vibe, the rest is up to you." Cece cheered and immediately ordered a bowl of luosafen, river snail rice noodles. Soon the stinky, spicy, steaming noodles were served. The smell filled the air, no dominated it. Cece drooled in delight while Shindi turned pale green from the stench. The smell was unforgettable. Cece had always been curious. President Hua said she looked like Lin Baiyue and the movie king said she looked like his first love. Was her face really that common? Shindi fell silent, lost in memory. In truth, she didn't look alike. Only her aura was similar. Cece praised sincerely, "Then your first love must have had an amazing vibe." Shindi let out an awkward laugh, thinking, is she just finding an excuse to compliment me? When the timer stopped, the time read 1 hour and 10 minutes, totaling 11,000 yuan. Cece noticed Shindi wasn't as lively tonight. Worried that he wasn't satisfied with her service, she suggested, "Maybe you could prepare some notes about your first love for me?" Shindi frowned slightly, wondering if she was trying to replace the woman from his past. Cece waved her hands quickly. No, it's just so I can play the stand-in role better next time." But all the movie king wanted was her quiet company. With a warm smile, he gave her a 5-star review. Cece darted off right after. Finally, her shift was over. As soon as she got into the taxi, Shindi's payment arrived. Her savings now totaled 150,000 yuan. But she still wasn't satisfied. The goal was far away. She needed to earn more. When she arrived on set the next day, the lead actress Tan Ling suddenly demanded that the slap scene be real. Cece's role, unfortunately, was the mistress who had to get slapped. The director tried to mediate, but Tan Ling pressed on. If you can't even take a few slaps, how can you call yourself an actress? The others snickered among themselves, whispering, does Chu Cece really think she can rise just because she's hooked up with President Hua, a stand-in dreaming of being a star? Cece wasn't about to take that humiliation. After all, her face was her meal ticket. She immediately pulled out her phone and called her boyfriend, President Hua. She even turned on speakerphone. President Hua, someone here wants to slap your girlfriend. What do you think about that? Hua Miao's calm voice came through the line. If you're an actress, you need to be professional. A real slap is necessary. Tan Ling burst into triumphant laughter. But the next second Hua added, except, this time it's Chu Cece who slaps you. Tan Ling froze on the spot. After filming, Cece rubbed her sore hand while the crew fawned over her. Meanwhile, Tan Ling sulked in the corner, sketching circles on the floor. Just then Hua Miao appeared, his presence enough to remind everyone who not to mess with. With an arrogant tilt of his chin, he added, I just don't want anyone bullying her while she's wearing my first love's face. And from today onward, Cece was officially the female lead of the show. Though as he proudly announced her pay wouldn't increase, he stood there smugly, clearly waiting to be praised. Cece froze. Being the lead meant way more screen time. She wouldn't be able to take any stand-in gigs this month. The realization hit like lightning. That's a loss of tens of thousands. Hua Miao smiled with satisfaction. I gave you the lead role. Aren't you touched? Cece's whole body trembled with emotion, or maybe rage. She forced a smile. So touched. Really, thank you, and your entire family. She was the stand-in girlfriend for countless elites. The domineering CEO, the scheming movie king, all obsessed with her. But all she wanted was to make money. The CEO frowned at her short skirt and said coldly, put on a jacket. My white moonlight would never wear something that short. Cece rolled her eyes. That clause wasn't in the contract. You've got no say. And next time, book in advance. I need time to change outfits. Hua Miao was convinced she dressed this way to seduce him. He'd seen this trick too many times before. Cece sighed helplessly. Making money these days was truly tough. Glancing at the time, she realized her shift had only just begun. She'd have to endure it a bit longer. Tonight, the CEO was attending a business banquet and needed a partner. He was sick of being mocked as a lonely bachelor, so this stand-in act had to be flawless. The job might be boring, but the buffet was heavenly. Cece happily loaded up a plate, but just as she was about to eat, someone approached with a snide tone. So, you're Hua brother's new girlfriend. He didn't even buy you a proper dress for this event? See the one I'm wearing. It's a birthday gift from Hua brother himself. Cece, never one to be bullied, fired back sharply. Funny, that dress was originally mine. I thought it was ugly, so he gave it to you instead. Gotta admit though, you and Green really are a match. Lin Chanqian's face twisted in fury. What did you just say? Who do you think you are to mock me? Too angry to settle for words, she grabbed a glass of red wine and hurled it straight at Cece. Cece reacted instantly, dodging with ease. The glass hit the wall and shattered with a sharp crash. The entire room fell silent. Every pair of eyes turned toward her. Hua Miao stormed in, his voice cold and commanding. What's going on here? Lin Chanqian trembled in fear, while Chu Cece immediately burst into tears, looking pitiful. This lady suddenly threw wine at me. I don't even know what I did wrong. Lin Chanqian tried to explain, but no one believed her. People whispered among themselves, that Miss Lin is always so arrogant. She probably picked a fight out of jealousy. Even Hua Miao believed she was the aggressor. The red wine stains on the carpet were proof enough. Lin Chanqian was speechless, her face pale with panic. Meanwhile, Cece added fuel to the fire, pretending to be kind. Please don't blame her, it's probably my fault somehow. Furious, Lin Chanqian raised her hand to strike. You shameless woman, you're trying to set me up. But a large hand caught her wrist midair. Hua Miao's eyes turned cold. Who do you think you are? You dare raise your hand against my woman? Lin Chanqian froze, her eyes filling with tears. Brother Miao, how could you treat me like this? Cece nearly gagged. Did he really just say that cliché out loud? Yet Hua Miao pulled the crying Cece into his arms, glaring at Lin Chanqian. Get out. Lin Chanqian fled in tears, muttering under her breath, "You little witch, just you wait." When the crowd dispersed, Cece quickly pushed him away, grumbling, "That woman's too weak that I didn't even get to show my real skills." Huo Miao frowned. If it were her, my white moonlight, she'd never let herself be bullied like that. Cece rolled her eyes. "Oh please, who can go through life without running into bad people?" She winked playfully. "Relax, boss, I promise I won't cause you trouble." Huo Miao froze. His heart skipped a beat, his handsome face turning red as he looked away. "Don't ever wink at me again," he said stiffly. Cece smiled sweetly and nodded, all while cursing him in her head. So many damn rules. Luckily, the delicious food around her was enough to heal her wounded soul. But Huo Miao, still puffed up with confidence, declared he was taking her somewhere nice. Cece pointed at her watch. "Boss, it's almost time. 3 minutes till I clock out. That if we keep going, that's overtime." Huo Miao's face darkened. Embarrassed yet stubborn, he snapped, "Fine. Triple pay." Cece cheered excitedly. "Boss, you're awesome. That's way more than I was going to ask for." She spun around with a grin. "President Huo, let's go right now." Soon the two arrived at an amusement park. Cece was stunned. Since when were COs this childlike? Huo Miao seemed to spot something and told her to wait a few minutes. When he returned, he was holding 2 ice creams, smiling awkwardly as he handed one to her. "You used to love this, remember?" Cece instantly slipped into character, smiling sweetly. "Thank you, Miao." A shadow crossed his face. It had been so long since he'd heard her call him that. Of course, Cece knew. He was thinking about his white moonlight. For the sake of triple pay, she looped her arm through his and suggested cheerfully, "Let's ride the Ferris wheel." Huo Miao, dazed by her smile, agreed without hesitation. Under the night sky, the Ferris wheel glowed brilliantly. Cece genuinely thanked him for bringing her there. But Huo Miao was completely lost in his illusion. "I've wanted to take you here for a long time, but then you disappeared. There's still so much I want to do with you. Now that I've finally found you again, don't leave me, okay?" Cece slipped into her delicate act, apologizing repeatedly and promising she'd never walk away on her own again. And technically that wasn't a lie. Walking away on her own and leaving were 2 very different things. Once she saved enough to disappear, she'd be sure to text him goodbye. Moved, Huo Miao reached up and gently cupped her soft cheek. "I want to be with you, forever." For a moment, his vision blurred. The fragile, distant white moonlight in his memory faded, replaced by the bright, lively stand-in before him. He leaned in, unable to resist, whispering her name, "Cece." Just before their lips met, a single finger pressed against his mouth. Cece's tone was calm but firm. "President Huo, you're crossing the line." Huo Miao's face turned red with anger and embarrassment. "Get out," he barked. In the next instant, his arms were empty. The woman had already slipped away. Furious, he clenched his jaw and forced himself to regain composure, returning to his cold Xiao persona. "That's enough for tonight. I won't be seeing you off." Cece didn't seem bothered at all. With her usual sunny smile, she reminded him sweetly, "Don't forget to transfer the money, boss." Huo Miao slammed the car door shut and sped off in anger. Cece thought he was acting strange, but as long as he paid up, she couldn't care less. The next day, the entire crew knew what had happened. Paparazzi had caught Huo Miao leaving her behind and driving off alone. Tan Ling was gleeful. Guess President was bored of her already, she sneered, eager to stir up trouble for Chu Cece. That day's shoot took place by the lake. When filming began, Tan Ling's mistress character came to confront the female lead. The two clashed fiercely. Suddenly, Tan Ling shoved hard, trying to push her into the lake to make her look foolish. Cece instantly realized, this wasn't in the script. She grabbed Tan Ling's arm mid-push and steadied herself. Then smack. A crisp slap echoed across the set. Everyone froze, stunned that no one noticed that movie king Shin Di had arrived as a veteran actor. He immediately grasped what had happened. Tan Ling was furious. "You dare hit me back?" This wasn't in the script. Chu Cece's abusing her power to get revenge. The director, recalling the gossip about Huo Miao abandoning Cece, frowned. "Chu Cece, what's your problem now? You're delaying the shoot. Can you take responsibility for that?" Cece stood her ground. The female lead's supposed to fight back. She was just pushed into a lake. Reacting is acting. She nearly shoved me in for real. Am I wrong for defending myself? Tan Ling's eyes darted around nervously, but she still refused to admit it. Shindi suddenly stepped forward, speaking calmly. I saw everything. Acting isn't about copying lines, it's about truth. Chu Cece did great. The mood shifted instantly. Everyone put on polite smiles. After all, this was the movie king talking. Shindi approached Cece with a grin and whispered teasingly, so you're the new female lead. Don't tell me you're working this hard just to get closer to me. He quickly found an excuse to announce that he'd be joining the production as the male lead. The crew erupted in cheers, while Cece just blinked, totally confused. Because of the casting change, filming wrapped early. Humming a tune, Cece clocked out happily. Nothing beat going home early. Just then, Tan Ling burst through the door with a few others, her face twisted with rage. You think you can slap me and just leave? Feeling proud of yourself, huh? Cece frowned, her tone sharp and cold. What do you think you're doing? Tan Ling sneered, her tone dripping with disdain. President Hu doesn't even want you anymore. Who do you think you are? No one's backing you now. Let's see how arrogant you can be. She raised her hand to strike. But the next second, her wrist was caught midair, gripped tightly. The group froze, stunned to see the sudden appearance of movie king Shindi. His expression was cold. Instead of picking fights, you should worry about your career. The director just said you're not right for this role. He's considering terminating your contract. Tan Ling's face went pale. This drama was her last chance to make a comeback. She couldn't afford to lose it. You're lucky today, she hissed before storming off to save her career. Cece smirked slightly. She could tell Shindi was bluffing. Early termination meant a huge payout, and that stingy director wouldn't spend a dime. In truth, Shindi had just stepped in because he didn't want her getting hit while he stood by. But Cece wasn't that naive. Her phone's camera had been recording the whole time that if Tan Ling dared to throw a punch, tonight's headlines would write themselves. Watching her composed reaction, Shindi suddenly felt dazed. The scene was so familiar. It reminded him of his first love, who also fought back fiercely when wronged. He sighed softly. You really do remind me of her. But Cece wasn't working right now, and she had zero interest in discussing anyone's first love. She'd rather be making money. Shindi pouted a little. I tried to book you last night, but you didn't answer. Cece looked a bit guilty and said casually, I've been too busy lately. No time to operate. Shindi was speechless. Wait, who's the client and who's the stand-in here? Still, he missed that feeling too much to let it go. When are you free then? He asked quickly. Cece was just checking her schedule, wondering if she could fit him in. Suddenly, Hu Miao appeared, clearly coming to explain what had happened the night before. Shindi raised an eyebrow. Didn't she just say she was too busy? Hu Miao froze when he saw how close they were standing. Then his face twisted in fury. What are you two doing? Shindi replied coolly. And what are you doing here? Without thinking, Hu Miao blurted, obviously, I'm here to book tonight's appointment. Shindi gave a fake smile. What a coincidence, I booked her too. Hu Miao froze for a moment before realizing what that meant. This damn woman. She was working as a stand-in for both of them at the same time. Cece nearly burst into tears. Great, caught red-handed. What do I even do now? Someone help, urgent. Just as she tried to slip away, Hu Miao grabbed her arm furiously. How dare you? You've been double-booking us. Cece sighed helplessly. The contract never said I could only work for you at most. I just bent the rules a little. The CO clearly didn't understand the struggle of the working class. What's so strange about juggling two jobs? Hu Miao's veins bulged in anger, but he couldn't even find the words to scold her. Shindi burst out laughing, thoroughly entertained. Hu Miao shot him a deadly glare. This is between me and her. Who invited you to butt in? Shindi's smile vanished, his tone cold. I booked her first. Ever heard of first come first served? The two men locked eyes, tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Cece quickly jumped in before things escalated. Gentlemen, please. My schedule's full lately. No more stand-in sessions for now. She grabbed both their hands and stacked them together with a bright smile. If you two really need something, maybe just book each other instead? Both men jerked back like they'd been burned, retreating a full 3 meters apart. Cece skipped happily toward the cafeteria, leaving behind a teasing smile, as if saying, you boys play nice. Hu Miao scratched at the wall in frustration. while Shindi could only shake his head, half amused, half exasperated. Neither dared to confront her in public. Meanwhile, Cece feasted in the cafeteria, happily ignoring calories. She had no idea that the two handsome men holding hands scene had already gone viral across the set. Even Tan Ling had heard the news, and her worldview instantly imploded. Elsewhere, the two men were still arguing fiercely. Hu Miao growled, "Cece is my fiancée. She just accepted my proposal. Stop wasting your time." Shin Di smirked. A powerful Xiao who has to book time with his fiancée. That's a new one. Hu Miao's face darkened. He had no comeback. Frustrated, he snapped, "Doesn't matter that she's not working for you again." Shin Di chuckled knowingly. "So worked up over a stand-in. Judging by your guilty look, I'd say you don't actually plan on marrying her." "In that case," he added coolly, "we're even. Neither of us gets to interfere with Cece's side gigs." Shin Di smirked, his lips curling with disdain. Where does he get that confidence? What makes him think Chu Cece would ever like him? With that, he turned on his heel and walked away, leaving Hu Miao fuming with rage. That night, Cece followed her assistant to the hotel room arranged by the production team. It was a 200-square-meter presidential suite. Cece's eyes sparkled with delight the moment she walked in. The previous occupant, Tan Ling, trudged out with her suitcase, head low and temper high. The two brushed past each other in the doorway. A second later, thud, Tan Ling fell face-first onto the floor. Humiliated and furious, she trembled with rage. But before she could take it out on Cece, the latter had already backed away 3 meters, wary of being framed by this professional victim. Cece didn't give her a chance to speak. She slipped back inside and locked the door tight. Tan Ling glared hatefully at it and hissed, "You just wait." Listening to the fading click of heels, Cece finally exhaled in relief. Just then her manager Song Chi called. "You've been invited to tomorrow night's Starlight Gala. They want you on the red carpet." For a barely known actress, this kind of opportunity was huge, and all thanks to the rumors linking her to Hu Miao. Cece grinned smugly. "Have free publicity. Not taking advantage would be a waste." Song Chi, however, sounded worried. "Cece playing both sides is dangerous. Check Weibo, look at the trending page." The headline hit like a slap. 18-tier actress dating both a CEO and a movie king. Cece's stomach dropped. The entertainment world was clearly more ruthless than she'd imagined. The next evening, the Starlight Gala was dazzling. Stars everywhere, cameras flashing nonstop. Cece wore a thin, short dress that left her shivering. She suspected Sister Song was trying to freeze her to death and timidly asked for a coat. Unfortunately, the outfit was company issued and Song Chi couldn't change it without approval. Soon, their car stopped at the red carpet entrance. Flashbulbs exploded as reporters swarmed forward. The moment Cece stepped out, microphones and cameras surrounded her from all sides. Forcing a bright smile, she wished she could vanish off the planet. But the questions grew sharper and nastier, pushing her patience to its limit. Her face turned cold as she shot back. "I'm not flirting with anyone. Everything I do has a clear price tag. Satisfied now?" After finally escaping the swarm of reporters, Cece made it into the Starlight Gala venue, only to start shivering uncontrollably. Her nose was running and she was seconds away from crying. She found an empty sofa and collapsed onto it, silently praying for the night to end as soon as possible. The actress beside her gave a sharp, disdainful glance. "Wearing so little, trying to seduce someone new. Don't think a pretty face means you can do whatever you want." Cece smiled shyly. "Thanks for the compliment. I am pretty cute, huh?" The actress's face froze. Is this woman insane? Just then Shindi made his grand entrance, surrounded by flashing lights and adoring eyes. His handsome, melancholic aura had every actress swooning. But Cece wasn't one of them. She was too busy staring at his jacket. It looked so warm. The actress scoffed. "Don't even dream about it. The movie king wouldn't glance at you." Cece rolled her eyes. "Trust me, I hope he doesn't." But she couldn't resist poking the bear. "I happen to be the only woman he's ever been rumored with." The actress nearly exploded. "Shameless." Cece grinned wider. "With a face this gorgeous? Why would I be ashamed?" The furious actress shot to her feet, yelling loud enough for everyone to hear. "Who seated her next to me? Someone like that doesn't deserve this table." Cece yawned lazily. If you're that mad, go talk to the organizers. She pointed playfully toward the front, where the actress met the host's icy stare. Her face turned chalk white and she sat right back down. Hearing the commotion, Shindi walked over, pretending to be surprised. With a gentle smile, he extended a hand. Would you do me the honor of joining me for dinner? The entire room fell silent. Was the movie king crazy? Cece was stunned. Dinner? In front of everyone? Was he trying to make the rumors official? She tried to slip away, pretending not to notice him, but someone blocked her path. A firm arm wrapped around her waist. Huang Yao had appeared from behind, smiling coldly. She's my fiancée, he announced to everyone. Cece almost screamed, not again. Another battlefield. The crowd gasped, their excitement reaching a fever pitch. Yet Shindi didn't back down. His expression softened, eyes steady on hers, silently waiting for her answer. Cece looped her arm through President Hua's, putting on a show of affection as she urged, let's go rest for a bit. All she wanted was to escape the awkward scene. Shindi's eyes darkened. He seemed like he wanted to say something. But Cece didn't give him the chance. She grabbed Huang Yao and bolted. Huang Yao's gaze dropped to her short, thin skirt, jealousy instantly flaring. But before he could start a scene, Cece tugged at his arm playfully, acting cute as she dragged him away. Whispers erupted behind them. I knew it. She really is seeing both men. Shindi watched their retreating backs, a flicker of melancholy crossing his face. A nearby actress seized the moment, fluttering her lashes as she approached. President Shen, women like Chu Cece aren't worth it, she said righteously. Shindi gave her a cold, mocking smile. Women who talk too much aren't worth respecting either. The actress froze, speechless as the movie king walked away. Meanwhile, Cece and Huang Yao entered the VIP lounge. She immediately checked her phone timer. She'd been playing his fiancé for 5 minutes. According to her stand-in contract, that meant payment was due. Huang Yao was speechless. She'd clung to him and now she wanted to charge him for it? But technically he had said the words, my fiancé. That was the cue that officially started the act. Cece grinned, noting her 5-minute bonus income in her memo app, practically drooling at the thought. Huang Yao sighed and gave in. Fine, he'd treat it as payment for making Shindi back off. Still, looking at her flawless makeup and that dangerously short skirt, he didn't buy for a second that she only wanted to talk about work. Pulling her into his arms, he tilted her chin with a teasing smile. So tell me, why'd you drag me in here? What did you want to say? He was certain of his charm. If she'd fallen for him, well, who could blame her? Smugly, he waited for her confession. Cece's face stiffened. Good Lord, is this man delusional? She was only here because it was freezing outside and she needed somewhere warm to hide. Huang Yao's jaw tightened, veins popping in anger. He gripped her chin. Don't forget your place. I can end your career with a single word. Cece's temper snapped. She tore free and glared right back. I give you my time, you give me your money. That's a fair deal. If you insist on treating me like I'm beneath you, then fine. Consider the contract over. Even if I'm kicked out of the industry, I don't care. Huang Yao was left speechless. He'd never expected this woman to be so damn fearless. Cece made her stance clear, then turned on her heel and walked out coolly. As for those 5 minutes, consider it charity from Grandma Cece. The moment she stepped outside, a gust of cold wind hit her. She almost turned into an ice sculpture. Her earlier bravado vanished completely as she curled up and shivered her way forward. Then, bam, she ran straight into a solid chest. Holding her throbbing head, she almost burst into tears. Seriously? Eyes on the road, please. Looking up, she saw a rebellious young man, bruised face, cigarette dangling from his lips. Cece blinked. So young and already working security? Poor thing even got beaten up. Without hesitation, she snatched the cigarette from his mouth and tossed it away. In a tone full of elder sister authority, she said, You're too young for this. Smoking's bad for your health. Quit while you can. Yulu froze, speechless, trying to explain, but she kept talking. I get it, Cece said with a sigh. Making money's tough these days. Then she pulled out a band-aid and stuck it right onto his cheek. By the way, that's a paid service. $100. Alipay or WeChat, your choice. Yulu stood there dumbfounded. He'd never met someone so charitably mercenary. Cece misunderstood his silence, thinking he couldn't even afford it. Her heart softened. "Ah, poor kid. Guess we're both struggling out here." She quickly added, "Just kidding. We're young, don't stress. No money today doesn't mean no money forever." After a round of motivational talk, her teeth started chattering again. Just as she turned to leave, something warm and soft settled on her shoulders. A jacket. Cece blinked, touched. What a sweet little guy. She waved happily and promised to return it after the gala. Yulu watched her go, then turned toward the VIP hall. Whispered gossip followed him. "Isn't that the unfavored young master of the Yu family? Still so arrogant." Meanwhile, Cece, now wearing the oversized men's jacket, strode confidently onto the stage. The audience erupted instantly. "She's so handsome. I'd totally date her." Both the movie king and the CEO turned to look at her. Their hearts pounded in unison. And at the back of the hall, Yulu gazed at her quietly. "So, her name is Chu Cece." After the gala ended, Cece tried to change back into her dress, only to realize the young bodyguard was gone. Did he ditch work or something? She wanted to return the jacket but couldn't find him anywhere. Panic rose in her chest. What if he needed it for work tomorrow? The coat felt expensive, high quality, warm, and clearly not cheap. For a kid who couldn't even spare 100 yuan, this had to be his only uniform. Thankfully, Sister Song promised to help her find out which agency the young guard worked for. Then she mentioned tomorrow's schedule. Cece would be shooting promotional photos with Shindi. The location? His alma mater, Manhwa University. Cece froze. That was the campus where Shindi and his ex went to school. A known emotional minefield. But worrying was pointless. She decided to get some sleep. Tomorrow's problems can wait for tomorrow. She didn't notice the dozens of unread messages lighting up her phone, from President Hua himself. Meanwhile, Hu Miao stood outside in the cold, waiting for hours. When she never showed, the veins on his forehead bulged. That damned woman. Tomorrow, she's dead if I catch her on set. Elsewhere, Yulu returned home. The butler greeted him respectfully. Remembering the encounter, Yulu ordered his staff to set up WeChat and Alipay for him, and to investigate everything about Chu Cece. The little actress had definitely caught his attention. The next morning, Hu Miao stormed into the set, ready to tear her apart, only to find she wasn't there. "She's off shooting promo photos," someone explained. Rage boiled in his chest. She'd stood him up again. Tan Ling chimed in with feigned innocence. "I heard she and Shindi are shooting alone together." Hu Miao's brows furrowed. Since when did Shindi become the male lead? Tan Ling smirked. The movie king took the role just for her. Hu Miao's jaw tightened. "Where are they filming?" he snapped. After getting the answer, he yanked his arm free from Tan Ling's grasp and stormed off, fury written all over his face. Tan Ling stumbled back, half in pain, half in shock, her entire arm throbbing as she barely kept her balance. Tan Ling, however, was secretly gloating. Serves her right. Chu Cece's finished now. Offending President Hua? Her career's dead. Let's see how long that arrogance lasts. Meanwhile, the crew arrived at Manhwa University. The makeup artist had styled Cece into a bright, youthful look. When she stepped out in front of Shindi again, he froze, completely stunned by her appearance. For a moment, it was as if he'd traveled back in time. His first date with his ex, she'd looked just like this. Lost in memory, he unconsciously reached out to pat Cece's head. But Cece turned suddenly, snapping him out of it. He awkwardly withdrew his hand. Clearing his throat, he muttered something about needing a smoke and walked off to calm down. When filming officially began, things didn't go smoothly. The director frowned. "Cece, your emotions aren't landing. You're missing that spark. No shyness, no longing, no sense of first love." Cece blinked in confusion. What does first love even feel like? She didn't believe in romance, only in cold, hard cash. Then an idea struck her. Right, just imagine Shindi's face as a giant gold ingot. Instantly, her eyes softened, her expression dreamy, even drooling slightly. The director clapped. "Perfect. That's the look. Cece, you nailed it, 666. Shindi chuckled. "You got into character fast. Must have plenty of experience in love." Cece shot back. "And you, movie king, are so convincing. Must be thinking about your ex, huh?" According to her contract, This shoot counted as a stand-in performance. 2 hours of filming, 20,000 yuan. Shindi's mouth twitched. This woman lives in a money-shaped universe. Cece eagerly waited for the transfer, only to see 15,000 hit her account. Shindi said calmly, "First love doesn't drool over me. Out of character. Minus 5,000. Cece wiped her mouth furiously. Petty stingy man. The next scene was a romantic one. The male lead teaching the female lead tennis, wrapping her arms from behind. Shindi's heartbeat sped up dangerously. His chest felt tight. Cece frowned. You should get an ECG done seriously. Early detection saves lives. Shindi smirked. Or maybe you can check it yourself. Put your hand right here. Before Cece could explode, a soccer ball came flying straight at them. In a split second, she shoved Shindi aside, spun, and delivered a perfect roundhouse kick, sending the ball soaring away. Turns out she was a trained taekwondo fighter. The director's eyes lit up. Amazing. Cece, you're a treasure. Cece burst out laughing. Knew you had good taste, director. But Cece hadn't forgotten about the football culprit. She turned and froze. Huamiao was striding toward her, face dark as thunder. Oh no. Don't tell me he's the one who kicked that ball. The director nervously stepped forward to greet him. Huamiao's lips curled into a dangerous smile. Who gave you permission to cast a male lead for Cece? Do you take the CO for dead? He turned sharply, barking, Choose Cece. Come here. Cece rolled her eyes. My hearing's fine. No need to yell. I can hear you just fine from here. Huamiao nearly exploded but couldn't bring himself to yell at her. Instead, he redirected his fury at Shindi. Before I lose my temper completely, you'd better disappear. Shindi smirked. But my hearing's not great. Can't really hear you from this far, so no can do. The onlookers burst out laughing. Poor Su, getting clowned by both his woman and the movie king. Huamiao's patience snapped. Fine, so you two are teaming up to mock me now? He lunged forward and landed a heavy punch square on Shindi's jaw. Gasps rippled through the set. The scene had spiraled out of control. Cece realized she had to do something, fast. She rushed up, pretending to be Huamiao's doting girlfriend. Trying to plead for him? Huamiao asked coldly. Cece clung to his sleeve, voice trembling. Miao, it's raining. I think I heard thunder. But he was still furious, ready to throw another punch. Desperate, Cece staggered slightly, pretending to feel dizzy. The director jumped in. President Hua, maybe we should, take her to the hospital first? Meeting Huamiao's icy glare, the director's smile froze instantly. Seeing Cece pale and trembling, Huamiao's expression softened. After a pause, he finally nodded. He turned to Shindi, voice cold as steel. The male lead changes. Otherwise, this production ends here. Shindi only smiled faintly, saying nothing. At that moment, thunder rumbled overhead. Feeling the girl in his arms shiver, Huamiao remembered. She was terrified of storms. He quickly pulled her closer. Come on, let's get you out of the rain. Okay, Cece murmured weakly, though inside she was screaming. His memory is worse than a goldfish's. Someone get this man a brain scan. As the two stepped outside, Cece's sweet, innocent look in her school uniform immediately drew every guy's attention. Huamiao's jealousy flared instantly. Get lost, he barked. The nearby male students scattered in terror. Turning to her, he ordered coldly, Get in the car. Or do you want me to carry you in front of everyone? Cece didn't dare make a scene. She darted into the car like a startled rabbit. But before she could breathe, Huamiao slid in right beside her. She nearly jumped out of her seat. Don't you need to, drive? My driver's not dead yet, he snapped. Then narrowing his eyes. And another thing, Choose Cece, without my permission, you're not to touch any other man, especially Shindi. Cece smacked his hand away. Transfer first. Payment means stand-in mode. No money, no acting. Huamiao looked at her, incredulous. My emotions are at their peak and you're talking business? Fine, he gritted his teeth. I'll pay, but promise me this. Stand-in or not, no physical contact with any man. Cece crossed her arms. That's cutting off my income. President Hua, this is a proper transaction. You want exclusivity, you pay extra. Don't mix personal and professional. I'm just your stand-in girlfriend. They stared at each other for several tense seconds. Finally, Huamiao sighed and pulled out his phone. Ding. Alipay. 100,000 yuan received. The moment she heard it, Cece transformed, instantly switching to sweet girlfriend mode, even putting on a wig. I'll do whatever you say, you're the only one I want. Huang Yao winced. Enough. Just sit quietly. We're going to the hospital. Hospital? Cece panicked inside. She'd been faking her fainting spell. His cold stare sent a chill down her spine. Don't tell me, you were acting just now too? Unable to argue, she followed him to the hospital. While he went to register, Cece finally exhaled in relief. Then a familiar voice called out. It was the young bodyguard from last night, Yu Lu. Turns out he was there picking up medicine for his grandmother. Cece immediately filled in the blanks herself. Poor guy, must be taking care of a sick elder. Life's really tough for him. Suddenly Huang Yao came storming over. Thinking fast, Cece laughed awkwardly. Oh, he's my distant cousin. Huang Yao's expression screamed disbelief, so she doubled down. My aunt's uncle's niece's cousin's nephew. The CEO's head practically spun from the verbal gymnastics, but he still snorted. Even if he were your brother, you're standing too close. He eyed Yu Lu carefully. Something about the kid looked oddly familiar. Thinking fast, Cece changed the subject. Oh, he was a bodyguard at the banquet the other night. You might have seen him there, President Hua. Huang Yao didn't buy it. He shoved Yu Lu aside and pulled Cece protectively into his arms. The young man's eyes narrowed. Sis, who's this guy? When he heard the word employer, Yu Lu's expression turned icy. Grabbing Huang Yao's wrist, he gave a light but firm push. His tone went cold. If he's just your employer, he should keep his hands to himself. A doctor arrived, explaining that Cece only had mild anemia and lack of sleep. She just needed rest. Huang Yao immediately snapped. From now on, you don't get up before 9:00 filming over 2 hours. If I find out you broke that rule, you're done. Cece puffed her cheeks, fuming inside. A real CEO would just shut down the production. This fake one only knows how to threaten. Yuri done. Still, she forced a sweet smile. I'm fine, really. I can handle it. Huang Yao gave her a dismissive look. Stop pretending to be obedient. That act doesn't work on me. Cece smiled again, eyes glinting. You're forgetting, I'm Lin Baiyue right now. Huang Yao froze. That name, those words. Baiyue had said something just like that back in college during a school festival when everyone had to move props. Her hand had been injured, yet she insisted on helping. He'd been furious then, dragged her to rest and warned everyone else not to complain. The past is the past, he thought, closing his eyes as he prepared to drive Cece home. Suddenly, a horde of reporters swarmed in, blocking their way. President Hua, is Miss Chu here for medical reasons? What's your relationship exactly? Is she pregnant? Microphones and camera flashes surrounded them in chaos. Just then, several tall men in black suits appeared, forcing a path through the crowd. Huang Yao barked, You're late. What kind of hospital security is this? The man leading them replied coolly, We're not from the hospital. Cece blinked, utterly confused. Then, who are you? The man in the black suit hesitated for a moment before blurting out, The boss sent us. Cece blinked. So Yu Lu's not just a bodyguard, he's their captain. Then where is he? He had some urgent business, the man explained. Told us to escort you home. Cece's eyes sparkled. Wow, that many handsome guys walking me home. Guess I really am everyone's favorite girl. Someone nearby darkened immediately. Huang Yao. Hey, I paid for 5 hours. Cece glanced at her watch. It's 8:30. That's 2 hours. I'll refund you 30,000. She flicked her fingers. Transfer complete. Huang Yao was left fuming behind a wall of bodyguards, stomping in frustration. Cece turned and stuck out her tongue. I'll head to set early tomorrow, make you some more money. Bye. With a team of handsome escorts, she arrived home safe and sound. Thanks, guys. Next time dinner's on me. The leader smiled politely. No need. The boss's friends are our friends. If you ever run into trouble, call us anytime. Cece froze. Why does this sound like something straight out of a mafia movie? She laughed awkwardly. Right, thanks again. We're all just workers trying to survive. Go home early and rest. When I'm rich, I'll treat everyone to a big feast. The guards were moved. No wonder the boss likes her. She's not just pretty, she's got class. Back home, she barely sat down before her manager, Sister Song, called. After a long emotional speech, the request was clear. Beg President Hua to keep Shindi in the cast. Cece rolled her eyes. They pay me for one role and now I've gotta handle Pier 2. No thanks, I'll just quit instead. Sister Song sighed helplessly. Cece's eyes gleamed. Actually, there is a way. If the company gives me 10% of the promo budget, I'll make sure it's handled. It was blatant extortion, but Song knew she had no choice. Fine, I'll talk to them. The next morning, Cece bought breakfast buns for the whole crew. When Tan Ling heard who paid, she tossed hers in the trash. Please. Who could eat that cheap stuff? From a corner, Cece caught it midair and took a bite. Tastes great to me. Ever wonder why they call it dog ignored? Guess it's because only dogs wouldn't eat it. The room burst into muffled laughter. Some people even snorted. Tan Ling's face twisted with rage. You'll regret this, just wait, she hissed. Cece just smirked. Perfect. The side character's ready. Now for the leading man. Her phone chimed. Frowny face. Transfer received. Miao. I'll pick you up at 6 p.m. With the lead actor replaced, there wouldn't be much filming today. Who'd run from easy money? She thought. Big sister's waiting for her payday pot to boil. At 6, Cece deliberately had a chair placed next to Tan Ling. As expected, Tan Ling sneered. Miss Chu, juggling 2 men and still got time to rest. Shouldn't you be out seducing your next target? Cece feigned innocence, whispering just loud enough. Oh, I was supposed to have a candlelight dinner with Shindi tonight. But he didn't show. Seeing Tan Ling tense up, she added sweetly, didn't you hear, he's been replaced. Shindi won't be returning to this set. Tan Ling froze, clearly crushed by the loss of her idol. Cece grinned, twisting the knife. But that's okay, we'll still have dinner. Just the two of us. No interruptions this time. You wish. Tan Ling snapped, eyes blazing. You won't seduce Teacher Shen while I'm alive. Cece arched an eyebrow. Honey, we're the official leads. What exactly are you gonna do about it? That did it. Tan Ling lunged, grabbing Cece by the arm. Suddenly, a strong hand caught her wrist midair. A deep, dangerous voice followed. You dare lay a hand on my woman? Cece instantly went into damsel mode, clinging to Miao. Miao, she almost scared me to death. Miao knew she was acting but didn't care. He couldn't risk her and Shindi alone again. Without hesitation, he declared publicly, from this moment, Shindi is demoted to second male lead. That night, the headline exploded online. A-list actor demoted after CEO's interference. Love triangle scandal. Meanwhile, Cece pocketed her bonus from the PR budget and earned herself a day off. 2 wins in 1 move. Cece was debating whether to sleep the whole day tomorrow or go make some extra cash when her phone buzzed. A message from Shindi. Frowny face. Payment sent. Please confirm. Instinctively, she tapped accept. The payment went through. Tears welled up as she whispered. Oh, the joy of being forced to make money. When she arrived at Shindi's place, she was stunned. It was a private art studio, spacious and elegant, filled with oil paintings and marble sculptures. Even the carpet screamed rich. The movie star pulled up a chair. Your job today is simple, he said softly. Just sit still. I'm going to paint you. Cece's eyes sparkled. So I just sit and get paid? I could do this forever. A few minutes later, she was fast asleep in the chair, breathing softly. Shindi gazed at her, memories flooding back. One summer long ago, he'd painted Lin Wei, who had also fallen asleep just like this. Back then, jealous classmates had teased him mercilessly. He smiled faintly at the thought, just as Cece suddenly twitched, waking with a start. By now, Shindi knew the truth. His reinstatement as the second male lead wasn't luck. It was her doing. Other than Lin Baiyue, only Cece had ever managed to make Miao change his mind. He's dangerous, he thought. Clever, calculating, and fascinating. Hours passed. Cece, half asleep, thought to herself, this is taking forever. Maybe I should charge overtime. Shindi shot her a look. Professional models make 500 to 1,000 an hour. You've already been paid way above that. She pouted. Didn't expect a famous actor to be such a penny pincher. Or are you comparing me to that woman you used to love? He had no comeback. With a sigh, he gave in. Fine. Double rate. And no, you don't need to refund the difference. An hour later, the portrait was finished. His gaze lingered on her face, softer than he meant it to be. Before Cece could even peek at the painting, her phone exploded with notifications. Miao's messages came flooding in. At the same time, Shindi received a call from the film crew. Cece whispered to him, I've got to go first. On the other end, the director's gossip radar went off immediately. He recognized that voice that wasn't that Chu Cece. Suddenly, the drama on set felt less exciting than the real-life one unfolding off it. When Cece arrived at the Hua mansion, she froze. Inside, a stepmother's tea party was in full swing. You can't possibly bring some third-rate, low-class actress into the Hua family. We will never accept such a woman. Cece blinked. Wait a minute. Are they talking about me? Then came Hua Miao's deep voice. Whether I marry Cece or not isn't for you, my stepmother, to decide. Her jaw dropped. Oh great. It really is me. She turned on her heel to sneak away, but Hua Miao spotted her instantly. Chu Cece. Come here. Inside, Lin Qianqian, the same woman who'd tried to splash her with wine at the party, was there too. How dare you show your face here, she spat. Cece put on her sweetest smile. Miao told me to come. Is that a problem? Lin Qianqian clung to Hua Miao's arm, whining, Miao, how can you let her walk into the Hua house? Cece ignored her completely, walked straight over and sat gracefully beside Hua Miao. Correction, I'm not some D-list nobody. With my current rates, she added with a smile, I'd say Hua Miao's the only one in this family who can afford me. The stepmother's smile vanished. Her voice dropped to ice. So you are Chu Cece. No matter your intentions, you'd better know your place. You have no background, no power, you'll only drag him down. Classic veteran move, Cece thought. 3 sentences in and she's painted me as broke, dirty and unworthy. Cece tilted her head. Let me guess. Next you'll ask how much I want to leave him, right? The woman froze for half a second before snapping. Fine. How much do you want? Before Hua Miao could speak, Cece beamed. 100 million. Pay that and I'll stay 1,000 kilometers away. No, make it 10,000. She fluttered her lashes playfully. So Miss Stepmom, will that be credit or bank transfer? Pay now and I'll disappear immediately. Hua Miao finally lost it. His voice dropped low and dangerous. If I want to, I can find you anywhere and drag you right back. Cece crossed her arms coolly. Looks like you've forgotten something, President Hua. I'm a paid employee, not your personal property. The two clashed on the couch, their argument sharp as broken glass. Cece yanked her arm free and turned to leave. Hua Miao's glare shifted toward his stepmother and Lin Qianqian. Get out. Lin Qianqian tried to protest, but her stepmother grabbed her wrist, dragging her away. She could tell at a glance. This woman wasn't one to mess with. Show's over, Cece said flatly. I'm not staying another minute. Who said you're done? Hua Miao's tone softened, though his eyes stayed cold. We're engaged now. Next step, wedding dress fitting. In the boutique, rows of white gowns sparkled under warm lights. Without hesitation, he pulled one from the rack and handed it to her. Cece blinked, flustered. This is just a contract relationship. Is this really necessary? Hua Miao's lips curved into a mocking smile. Relax, it's only a fitting, not a wedding. Of course, if you'd prefer to stay by my side as my secret lover, I won't object. Her face hardened instantly. In that case, my hourly rate doubles. Fine, he said, raising a brow. Double it, triple it, whatever. Now go change. I'll tell you when I'm satisfied. Across the street, someone was watching. Yu Lu, seated in the upstairs office, stared through the glass at the boutique below. The store belonged to his grandfather's company, and he was currently interning there. Seeing none of the gowns worthy of his goddess, he ordered the manager curtly, bring out the store's crown jewel. Minutes later, Cece emerged wearing a lavish, heavy ball gown-style dress, looking every bit the reluctant bride. Hua Miao's brows knit tighter. No, still ugly. Cece had completely lost her patience. If this is just to mess with me, you don't have to torture me like this. Whoever wants this job can have it, I quit. Just as she was about to strip off the gown, the manager hurried over, carrying a gold case. President Hua, the store's crown jewel has arrived. Hua Miao scowled. Take it and try it on. 30 minutes later, Cece stepped out, the pure white train sweeping elegantly across the floor. The gown was exquisite, grand yet refined, layers of silk cascading like clouds. With her delicate makeup and calm posture, she looked breathtakingly beautiful. The boutique fell silent. Even the staff were stunned. Hua Miao stared, completely dazed. For a brief, dangerous second, an image flashed through his mind. Him kneeling before her, a ring in hand as she smiled and said yes. He whispered to himself, marrying her, Wouldn't be so bad. Then reality slammed back, his expression hardened, and he quickly made the transfer. Forget it, we're done. The staff exchanged looks. She tried 100 dresses and the groom still cancelled on the spot. Rich people truly had their own brand of insanity. Cece ignored Huamiao completely, though a strange unease crept up her spine that it felt like someone's eyes had been on her the whole time. Upstairs, Yulu stood frozen by the window, his pulse pounding in his ears. Did I end that gown? She looked unreal, like she'd stepped out of a dream he wasn't supposed to have. After the fitting, Cece stepped out of the boutique, and the smoky aroma of grilled meat hit her full force. Across the street, a barbecue stand was sizzling away, and her eyes lit up instantly. She hadn't eaten all day and her stomach growled in protest. Her long legs carried her straight toward the food, but she didn't notice a delivery scooter speeding down the road. At the last second, someone yanked her back hard. Nuna, you almost gave me a heart attack. Yulu gasped, still pale from the scare. He patted his chest, trying to calm down. There's a security job opening nearby. I came to check it out. Didn't think I'd run into you again, or that I'd have to save your life first. Cece was still shaken. Great, can't exactly tell him I nearly died because I was too hungry to look both ways. The puppy wasn't just cute, he was thoughtful too. I just got my paycheck today, Yulu said with a shy grin. Let me treat you, Nuna. Cece's eyes lit up. Deal. She pointed at the menu like a general on a battlefield. Skewers, wings, oysters, everything. Kinda feels bad making a kid pay for me, she muttered, while happily grabbing another skewer. Yulu took the steaming plate from the chef, his fingers long and clean. His hands were too smooth for a security guard's. No calluses, no scars, just slender, elegant fingers. More dishes arrived, one after another. The air was filled with the smoky scent of grilled meat, chili, and sizzling oil. Pure late-night heaven. Cece devoured the food without shame, eating like she hadn't seen meat in days. Yulu didn't mind. If anything, his eyes softened. You must skip meals a lot because of work, huh? He hesitated before adding, if you ever want to quit, tell me that I'll find you something better. Cece slurped an oyster noodle and laughed. Better than being a stand-in, doesn't exist. But when she looked up and saw how serious his gaze was, she paused. This kid, maybe he's not as simple as he looks. 30 minutes later, she leaned back with a satisfied sigh. I'm stuffed. Life is good again. Just as they were about to pay, a drunk staggered into their path. He hiccuped and grinned sleazily. Hey pretty lady, have a drink with me. Yulu's expression darkened instantly. Get lost. The drunk pointed a finger at him. I'm talking to my sister, not you. Mind your own damn business. Cece quickly pressed down Yulu's arm. It's fine, she whispered. Big sis has this. She grabbed a bottle of beer from the corner and, while the drunk wasn't looking, poured in a generous spoonful of chili sauce. Come on, big brother, she said with a dazzling smile. If you're gonna drink, do it right, straight from the bottle. The drunk grinned, tipped it back and gulped it all down. Seconds later, his face turned crimson. Hot, so hot, he wheezed, clutching his throat. Oh no. Cece cried dramatically. My brother's choking. Quick, little brother, get him some water. Yulu caught on instantly, keeping a straight face as he handed over a cup, filled with strong liquor. The drunk, none the wiser, downed it in one go. A moment later, he collapsed into the corner, coughing, sweating, and swearing every curse he knew. The stall owner hurried over. So, who's paying the bill? Cece pointed at the drunk sprawled on the floor. My brother, of course. Then she grabbed Yulu's hand and made a quick getaway. A free dinner never tasted so good, she laughed as they vanished into the night. Later that evening, her manager, Sister Song, called in a panic. Why didn't you tell me you're marrying Huamiao? Cece peeled off her face mask, blinking in confusion. Marrying? That's news to me. She opened Weibo, only to find herself trending at #1. The paparazzi had snapped her at the bridal shop earlier. Cece sighed in relief. So it was just for show. He probably leaked it to piss off his family, she muttered. Then softly added, Huamiao's not gonna marry me, and I have no interest in taking Lin Baiyue's place. Sister Song had a nagging feeling something was off about the trending post. The numbers didn't look organic. It's like two forces are fighting, she muttered. One side pushing the topic up, the other trying to bury it. The result? A perfect stalemate. The post stayed glued to #1 but never exploded further. Cece frowned. Could it be Shindy? But he's only ever cared about Lin Wei, hasn't he? Then she shrugged. Whatever. As long as my paycheck isn't affected. The next morning, Cece showed up on set like nothing happened. The director nearly leapt from his chair when he saw her. Ah, Teacher Chu, you're here. You must be exhausted. Please don't push yourself. Sleep in if you want. Come in later, it's fine. Cece froze. Oh, something's seriously wrong with this man. She smiled politely. Let's just shoot quickly before anything weird happens again. Got it. I'll arrange it right away, he said, almost saluting. Before she could escape, a crowd of staff swarmed around her. Breakfast for you, Miss Chu. Here, sit on this lounge chair. Want a neck massage? Help. Cece groaned. I just want to reach the makeup room, not a spa treatment. Thinking fast, she pointed at the door. Andy Lau's here. The crowd scattered in excitement, giving her the perfect chance to slip away, only to bump straight into Shindy in the hallway. Miss Chu, he greeted softly, there's still half an hour before we start shooting. Would you stay and talk with me? Cece wordlessly pulled out her phone and opened a timer app. Shindy's eyes softened, a faint ache in his voice. Just for today, can we forget the stand-in thing? Cece thought for a moment. Keeping the client calm is part of the job, she reminded herself, then nodded. 10 minutes. No more. I still need to review the script. Her cold, businesslike tone caught him off guard. To Cece, men who used stand-ins to chase lost love were all the same, pitiful and dull. If there's nothing important, we can end this talk early. Shindy suddenly reached out, his fingers brushing her wrist. Are you really going to marry Hu Miao? Is Mr. Shin interested in my private life now? She asked, voice calm but sharp. No, since we signed a contract. Cece let out a short, humorless laugh. If you're worried the contract's void, relax. The right to terminate is mine, not yours. Since you've always seen me as a stand-in toy, Mr. Shin, why not stay consistent till the end? Shindy fell silent, surprised by how lucid and detached she sounded. I just want to make my money quietly, Cece said evenly. If I take the pay, I take the risk. Rumors, hot searches, gossip, I can handle that. But if it stops being mutual benefit, then it's over. She smiled faintly. Of course, before I end the deal, I'll give you a proper notice. Late at night, two women quietly slipped into the equipment room. The long-haired one hesitated, whispering nervously, Are you sure about this? What if someone gets hurt? The short-haired woman sneered. If something happens, my family will handle it. You really think Chu Cece can marry into the Hua family and still let you survive in this industry? The long-haired woman bit her lip, hesitated, then handed over the key. The short-haired one smirked and slipped inside. She located one of the wire pull systems and quietly loosened a screw. Chu Cece, she hissed under her breath, I'll never let you step on me again. The next morning, Cece had a wire harness stunt scheduled. Out of caution, the director suggested using a stunt double. Cece almost agreed, until Tan Ling sauntered over with a mocking tone. It's just a 2-story drop. There's safety gear. You scared or something? Hook, line, and sinker, Cece took the bait. No need for a double. I'll do it myself. Everything was set. Cameras rolled. Tan Ling, fully in character, shoved the heroine toward the railing with real aggression. If it weren't for you, he'd be mine, she shouted, voice trembling with something dangerously close to truth. Before Cece could react, Tan Ling's push sent her flying,